And I think it's safe to say that we found some very odd things. We've got to go and have a chat with Walter and tell him what's been going on his piece of land. Okay, thank you. Yes, well, we'll love to borrow the log trailer and crane if we can, by taking some of our leftover wood to make furniture over to the carpenters. David has 2 irrigation contracts, and rather than getting the contract money, he is going to give us the 4 pallets of prefabricated walls that we need. Hey, is that the sheriff I can hear? I just don't know what to say, Sheriff. It's been completely cleared out. Someone was definitely up to something suspicious here. Wasting police time? You've got to be joking, Sheriff. We wouldn't make this up. Why would we? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the American Dream at Riverbend Springs. We have moved into July of year 3, and it is nice and sunny. Temperatures have risen, so we've lost our coat and jacket, which we had to wear last month because it was a little bit wet, and it's just t-shirt and jeans weather today. And yeah, I think there's some good news. The farmhouse has finished building its way through all of the prefab wall materials, which we were able to source from David, which is very good. However, we still have 6,000 litres or 6 pallets of furniture, which we managed to get set up and running at the carpenters. So I'm going to head on down to the carpenter this morning to see how it has progressed, and yeah, if anything, we might be able to pick up some. I see I'm a little bit low on fuel in the pickup. Now, of course, I'm still a little bit confused after the events of last time, and it was, of course, the sheriff coming down to the site where we found some very suspicious and odd things at Walter's fishing grounds, and it having been completely removed by the time the sheriff went and investigated. And yeah, it made us look a little bit silly, and I'm wondering if we're going to have sort of any repercussions from the sheriff, as yeah, you never know with the sheriff. Sometimes he's in a good mood, sometimes he's in a bad mood, and he did moan that we were wasting police time. So I'm thinking I probably need to go and speak to Walter as well, see what he makes of it, as no doubt he has heard that the sheriff found nothing where we reported some odd things. But I'm going to head down this track on the way to the carpenters this morning, because I have a suspicion, and I think that suspicion is correct, that our wheat in our very first and smallest field is ready to harvest. I think it certainly is. I can see the lovely golden strands. Aha, here it is. Yep, fantastic. It is ready to harvest. So let's just hop out and have a little look at how things are looking. Okay, the moisture level is not great, but of course it is ready to harvest. I don't think we've had much damage, so that is good. Moisture retention is actually looking in the green, so that's pretty good going. So yeah, this lovely wheat is ready to harvest. So we're going to have to get the Alice all crop out and see to this. But I was thinking, because we've got other fields with crops in, we've of course got our sorghum in our latest and newest field. And then we have the cotton, although we don't really need to store this. This is going to be baled up, the cotton. And I will have to speak to Walter about borrowing his cotton harvester when the time comes. But for the sorghum and for the wheat, I think it will make sense to get some form of grain trailer. So I'm going to be seeing about getting hold of one of those. Might catch Walter and ask him about that as well when we go speak to him about the oddities at the fishing site. There we go, that is at least one big task for today, getting the wheat harvested. So yeah, let's head over to the carpenters, see how they've got on with making the furniture, and then we can head on to Walter's and have a quick chat with him. 27 degrees on the thermostat, and I've just looked back into the bed of the trailer and can see that we still have our jackhammer, which I probably should have taken out. We used that when we cleared the rocks from Walter's fishing area, which is where we found a very odd and suspicious looking setup. Well, looks like some other farmers have got their crops ready to harvest as well. Let's take a right turn. We need to go into town to see the carpenter. Gingerly past the sheriff's office. Don't want any unwanted attention today, thank you. Alright, and just over the partial crossroads, I guess you could say, behind the Willow Lumber Company is the carpenters. And, I can see some wonderful crates, some boxes on top of pallets, and some more hidden in the corner. This looks to be our furniture. Wowzers, that is, a little bit more than we were expecting. And probably needing to make. Well, yes, each pallet is 1,000 litres. We only needed 6. So how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ooh, unlucky 13. Right, well, let's check in on the carpenters and see what's what. So the carpenter has got 3,500 litres or thereabouts of wood left to process. He's going to keep on working today, so it might pump out another pallet or two. But one thing that is really good is he's kindly ramped up the production of our furniture. As we said, we needed this quite urgently. So he's ramped up to doing 5,745 cycles per month. But that has meant we've had to pay an additional cost. So I think we spent about 1,500 on the production cost, plus the 800 for renting. But overall, I think that's a lot cheaper than buying furniture from the warehouse. Excellent. Well, this is very good news, but it does mean that we have lots and lots of boxes to move back. I think any of the excess furniture we'll probably store in our shed and maybe find an appropriate time to sell it. But I think as well as needing a grain trailer for our wheat, we are also going to need a larger trailer for hauling materials around. That would certainly come in handy, especially with moving materials over to Craig's workshop and so forth. Right, let's hop in the pickup and we can go over to go and see Walter. Thinking it might be a good idea for me to grab some fuel on the way. Right, we can turn into the fuel station. Doesn't look like Katie is at the animal dealers today. I wonder if she's working or not. Actually, come to think of it, we did text Katie and she hasn't replied to us yet. So maybe we need to check in with Walter and see if everything is okay. There we go, good dose of the good stuff for the pickup. Let's hop in. We can head on to Walter's. Alright, here we go. Walter's East Farm. And I'm hoping that Walter is going to be alright with us. Obviously, I'm hoping we didn't cause him much bother with the whole situation of his fishing grounds and having to report it to the sheriff and so forth. Here he is. Good old Walter. Hey Walter, how you doing? Well, I think it's fair to say that we're a little bit confused, as probably you are as well. That's right, the sheriff came to see us and told me that he didn't find anything at your fishing ground after we saw what looked like very suspicious stuff. We took him down there and it was completely cleared out. Someone had taken everything away. I know, it was most bizarre, Walter, and I'm sorry if I caused any trouble between you and the sheriff. Obviously you were the one who told him, as it's your land, but I promise you, we did see all those things. I didn't manage to get any photos, but it definitely was there. Oh, well, that's promising to hear that you believe us, Walter. We wouldn't make stuff up like that, and I was just more concerned about something odd happening at your fishing ground. Okay, that's odd. I wonder why the sheriff was so unhappy when you told him what I had told you. Well, I don't think the sheriff is best happy with us. Better steer clear of him. And talking of the sheriff, I also messaged Katie to see if she was okay, because I thought I saw what looked like her bike at your fishing site, and I texted her, but she hasn't replied. Have you heard from her? Oh, you haven't heard from her in a little while. Well, that's a little bit worrying. We've obviously been in good contact lately, and yeah, I didn't see her when I drove past the animal dealer, so that's got me a little bit worried now. Maybe we'll have to go check in on her later on. Oh, that's fine, Walter. Yeah, we're happy to go check in on Katie, as I'm sure you know we've grown quite close lately. But anyway, all that aside, we've got some farming to do. The wheat is ready to harvest, and I wondered if you knew where we could get a grain trailer. Okay, not a grain trailer, but old Ben has got a grain truck for sale. Well, a farm truck, a larger farm truck with a grain compartment would be quite handy, actually. Right you are, Walter. We will go and chat to old Ben. Thanks, as always, for your help, and we'll see you soon. Take care of yourself, Walter. Yeah, we'll let you know how Katie is when we see her. See you later. Right, well, yeah, had a good old chat to Walter about things. Good news is that he does believe us about what we found at his fishing site, but sounds like the sheriff wasn't best too pleased about being told about it. So, yeah, don't know if that's just the sheriff being lazy, or who knows. But we're heading on round to old Ben's, because Walter says that he's got a old farm truck with a grain compartment, so a grain truck on the market. So yeah, let's check in with old Ben. He's just round the corner here. Aha, he is here, which is good news. Let's pull in and have a chat. Oh, I wonder if that is the grain truck he is talking about. Hey Ben, yeah, it's been a little while. How are you? Say, that planter you gave us for doing the ploughing contract has worked out really well. Got the cotton in nicely. The reason for the stop-in is Walter tells us you've got a farm truck with a grain tank on the market. Oh, okay, 10,000. That was a little bit steeper than what we wanted to pay, but we can take a look at it, that's for sure. Okay, you've got a harvest job that needs doing, and you'd be willing to pay us for it. Well, I guess that would contribute towards any farm truck and grain truck costs. Thanks, Ben. Let's just go have a look at the old farm truck, and then we can consider your offer. Right, well, the farm truck is indeed this one in old Ben's shed. And first impressions is it does indeed have a very large grain tank on the back. I think Ben said something about 13,000 litres. So that's pretty good. I think it is a older truck. Yep, it is a Chevrolet C60 V8. I think I can see Viking written on the bonnet there. Very nice. Well, it's obviously looking a bit dirty and could do with a little bit of TLC. But yeah, I'm hoping that this might be a good option for us to get. The pickup truck that we have is very, very useful. We can stick all manner of things in the back, but does not allow us to store any grain or crops. The small trailer we have does label that, but I think that's only about 3,000 litres, so this would really be useful in the long run. And I think it's probably one of those trucks where you can alter the bed and maybe make it a flatbed or do other various things with it. Looks like it's fairly customizable. So yeah, this I think is probably going to be a good option for us. Right, old Ben said the keys are on the dash and we can test it, so let's fire it up. Well, it's fired straight up and seems to run very well, which is awesome. Quick little drop into reverse and see how she drives. Well, yeah, things seem pretty smooth. Back forwards again. Very nice. And yeah, it looks like the steering is all pretty good. No looseness or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's probably a good opportunity for us to buy this. Ben wants 10,000 for it, which sounds a little bit steep, but we are getting obviously a truck with a grain trailer. So yeah, we might spend a little bit less on just a grain trailer, but having an extra vehicle around is quite handy and means we can keep the pickup nice and not have to use this for anything that it's not really capable of. Oh yes, one thing I did want to check is, does it have a hitch, as that is going to be very important for us getting lots of other bits around that we need. So, just thinking about this, if we were to go and do some farm work, we could take this farm truck and the grain tank on the back would be able to take crop and move crop around, and the tow hitch means that we could get a sizable trailer on the back, which means we could probably tow a tractor and possibly the Alice all-crop harvester around. So yeah, we would be fairly mobile. Alright, think I've made my mind up. We'll take it, Ben. Excellent. Well, here's the money. You mentioned a harvesting job that you wanted done. So Ben has a field 28 with barley in, and he wants that harvested. It's a fairly small field, probably, well, definitely bigger than the field of wheat that we need to harvest, but probably about the same size as the last field that we purchased, which has got sorghum in. So I think that's within our capability to harvest, and he's willing to pay about $2,200 for that. So that means that we could earn back a bit of money from after purchasing the farm truck from Ben. So I think we're going to do that. Oh, thanks, Ben. Yep, I think what we'll do is we'll take the farm truck back to our farm and leave our pickup here for the time being, if that's okay. We'll come grab it later. Alright then, Ben. Cheerio. Well, $10,000 down, but we have a nice new farm truck. I say new, it does need a bit of work and a bit of tidying up, but yeah, I think this is going to work well for us. So let's open up the doors here and we can get this out. Let's hop on in. Fire it up and we can pull it on out. Oh, she's a beauty. And I'll tell you what, she has got some power. A little bit loud, but yeah, once we hopefully get up a gear, we can be away. Awesome. Right, yeah, it's an automatic truck, so it jumps through the gears, but seems to sit in the gears quite high, but that's not too bad. Right, I'm thinking what we'll do is head over to the dealership and see if we can purchase ourselves a suitable trailer. Much quieter in the cab, thankfully. And yeah, it's quite a high riding position, this farm truck. Pretty basic on the inside, but yeah, I'm hoping it's going to serve us quite well. Right, we want to turn left and go into the dealership, as I want to see about finding a trailer. Alright, we can pull up here. And let's see what we've got. I've just been chatting to the guys at the dealership, and I think what we need is a low loader. And they have this Rover PE32. I think it's a Rover. And for $19,500, we will get quite a trailer. Obviously, this could load up goods. It's got ramps at the back, so we could load on vehicles. So I'm thinking that this will be a good option for us. Allow us to haul much more equipment and goods around. It's obviously double the price of the farm truck that we have just purchased, but I think it will go a long way, so I'm going to buy this. Here it is. Nice shiny new equipment next to old rustic farm truck. But let's hop in and should be able to hitch up. And I'm thinking on the way back to the farm to grab the tractor and the Alice Chalmers so we can do the Field 28 harvest for old Ben. And we can grab some of our furniture from the carpenter. There we go, that is hitched up quite nicely. So let's head on around. And because this farm truck is quite powerful, quite beefy, it's got a good amount of horsepower to pull all the things that we would need. Alright, carpenters is here. I'm not sure if any more boxes have been dispatched out, but we will get them loaded up onto the trailer. There we go, we can just park up here for now. Right, so it's going to be a heavy old job of getting this loaded on, but luckily we can lift and shift this. Right, so that's the 6 loaded at the front. This is what we're going to need for the farmhouse. Now the remainder, I've just been looking at the prices, and it seems like this month, conveniently, is the best month to sell furniture. It is the highest price on the market index, so I think we're going to take these over down to the warehouse. I'll probably leave a little gap just so we know which ones we keep and which ones we sell. Right, so that's 7 pallets at the back that we can sell to the warehouse. There's 2,500 litres of wood still in the carpenter, and I've told him that he can sell that directly once it is finished, and then we'll stop leasing the carpenters. But let's hop in. We can get this over to the warehouse to sell, and then the remainder back to our farmhouse. Alright, we can pull on round the side of the warehouse to sell these 7. I think just about here is the spot, so let's hop out and we can unlash these. There we go. Unlashed and sold. I think we just need to pull these a little bit over. That's right. There we go. Crikey. We've made a lot of money from that furniture. In fact, I think we've got up to where we were money-wise before we purchased the farm truck and the trailer. So we've made all that money back, and we've still got our 6,000 litres of furniture to take to the farmhouse. Ooh, the Phoenix truck. I did enjoy driving this to Silver Run Forest back in the day. God, that feels like a long time ago. Let's press on back to the farmhouse and get this furniture dropped off for the build. Now, one thing I didn't realise is this trailer has a beacon, which is very handy. And 6 pallets of furniture have gone in. So that is the last part of the materials we need for the farmhouse build, which is absolutely fantastic. Right, so let's get the farm truck over to the shed so we can load up the tractor, the International Harvester Farmall 1206, and the Alice Chalmers harvester. We obviously have a grain truck, so that is very good for us. And then we should have everything we need to go and do old Ben's harvest. Unfold the ramps, and it looks like some legs go down to help support. Right, this is the Alice all crop, so we need to reverse that onto the trailer. Let's jump in the International. Alright, let's back up. The Alice all crop is on, however it is a little bit too wide, so I have had to just have it sort of straddling the trailer, but that should be alright. I put some boards underneath it so it doesn't get damaged. Right, I've had to go forwards because we have not got enough room for the pallet fork to be on the back, but what that can do is that can rest on the Alice and keep that in situ. Right, so let's get the trailer folded up. It's a little bit heavy on the rear, but I think we're still doing okay. So we can head off to the field, it's just down the road, and get that sorted for old Ben. Well, this is quite the transportation, isn't it? Alright, this is the field, so what we can do is we can park up on the verge. And I'm hoping I'm not going to hit this sign. Oh no. As if the sheriff needed any more excuses to come after us. But we'll maybe just prop that back up and fix it later on. Right, so let's unload, or open the trailer so we can get things unloaded. Probably could have just driven over here with the tractor and the harvester, to be fair. And we can unload Alice. There we go, here she comes. Right, a couple of things that have just cropped into my head is we are going to have to drive this way around the field so we don't drive in the crop and damage it. We need the thrasher part of the Alice facing in towards the field. Oh god, I've just knocked over another post. Oh dear, this is not going to go very well. There we go, we can set up the harvester here, and we are going to have to move the farm truck and the trailer, so let's get that out the way. Maybe we can park it on the other side of the road. That would be handy. Alright, truck on, trailer up. Let's just do a UE. Hopefully not hit that sign and make it 3 signs destroyed. Alright, there we go. Hopefully this farmer does not mind us parking here. Now the second thing I have thought of is this farm truck, the grain tank, is obviously high-walled. So I wonder if our little auger arm is actually going to reach into the truck. At a first glance it doesn't look like it, but I guess we will cross that bridge when we come to it. As always, you buy new equipment and new challenges come to fruition. Right, we need to unfold the harvester. Right, there we go. No unfolding to do, but we can switch it on. And do we need to lower it? I don't know if we do. I think we just need to start harvesting. Right, well, for some reason this harvester does not seem to like the International Harvester 1206, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get Alice, which I know is a proven tractor to pull the harvester, and maybe it's just because the 1206 is a bit too high and the pickup can't reach the ground of the harvester to do the thrashing. So let's do a swap-peroo. Right, I'm hoping it's Alice to the rescue and we can get this harvest underway. And let's attach, switch it on, lower it. Don't know if there's any lowering to do, but there we go. Seems like Alice was rather particular and only wanted to work with the other Alice. Right, so we're harvesting barley for Ben. Let's get this all sorted. Might take a while, but then we'll get it done. Well, I've been stopped early on this row because we've reached 100% capacity in the Alice Chalmers all crop, and we have tipped over to 51% of the field harvested. So I think that's a good opportunity to take a break. Has been a very long job. Of course, the working width of this Alice Chalmers all crop is very, very slim, so it does mean that it takes a long time to get around the field. We've had to go around the border in a sort of anti-clockwise direction continuously to make sure that we don't drive over the crop. Now I think what I am going to do is open up the auger pipe. We will keep the tractor running because I think we need it on to unload. And I'm just going to pull the farm truck out of the bushes. Oh, yes, a bit. I've pulled it back in there just to keep it out of the way, but yeah, don't need to worry about scratching any paintwork because definitely does need a bit of a tidy up. We'll have to give this farm truck a wash. Right, we've got 2,800 litres in here, 21% full, so we don't need to be doing any unloading. And what I've been doing is I've just been squeezing the spout through a little hole and panel in the farm truck. So that's been working reasonably well, but it has been sort of making me think that we do need to get a upgraded harvester at some point. This little Alice Chalmers is very cute, but it is ever growing in terms of more fields, larger fields, more crops to harvest. So we are going to need something a little bit more appropriate than our starting out harvester. Right, I think we can shut Alice down. We're going to take a little bit of a break and come back to finish this at some point. I think I'm also going to leave the farm truck here, as we're not too far from Ben's that we could walk it and grab our farm truck, or the pickup truck. And they probably need to call this the farm truck or the grain truck now, the Chevrolet. And I think it's an International Harvester pickup truck. So we'll journey on back to Ben's, pick up the pickup truck, and then I'm thinking I might stop in on Katie's just to see if she is okay. My journey to Ben's takes me past Walter's fishing spot, and I see Sheriff Bob's car here. Can't see the sheriff anywhere, but it looks like he's come back to check this spot out once again. Still absolutely clear, nothing here. I don't know. Not sure why the sheriff would come back here after all the fuss he made, complaining that we were wasting police time and making false reports. Cool. Reached 32 degrees. It's quite warm, so I think I might pop in the garage and get a bit of a refreshment. Alright, we have just made it to Ben's. Just come back for the pickup, Ben. Yep, the farm truck seems to be doing a good job so far, so thank you very much. Right, hopped in the pickup. We can get started, and we'll back out of here and journey over to Katie's just to go check in that she's okay. Did not see her at work earlier. We have not had a message back, and Walter has not heard from her, so it makes me slightly worried. Katie's is just down here past Riverbend Lake and of course the water tower. Now I have noticed that our money has trickled up again. I think the carpenter has finished with the leftover furniture and has sold the remainder. There it is, Riverbend Lake. We'll have to see about maybe using Walter's houseboat at some point. Maybe we could have a nice time there with Katie one day. Right, Katie's is here on the right. Forgot how long and winding Katie's driveway is, but we have made it. Yeah, it looks a bit quiet. I'm not sure if she is in. Hello, Katie. Are you in? No answer at the door. Maybe we could just have a peek through one of the windows. Katie? Maybe I'll try the back door. I'm sure she won't mind. Katie? Oh. I think the door is a bit open. Katie? Are you in here? Well, there's no sign of Katie. But it looks like someone's left in a hurry. There's food that's not been eaten. Looks like some of the drawers have been emptied. What's going on? Where's Katie? Well, we've investigated Katie's house and she is not here. She has not replied to our message and Walter has not heard from her. And that is rather strange, especially after we saw what we thought was her bike at the side of the house and then at the fishing spot that Walter asked us to clear, where there was something definitely strange and odd going on there. Well, maybe we'll have to try messaging and calling again, or if we can't find or hear from her, I guess we'll have to let the sheriff know. But that is it for today. Next time we will have to finish off old Ben's harvesting contract, and I think it's time to see about getting a harvester upgrade, especially as our harvest and more harvests are going to be looming soon. But I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, I hope to see you again next time on the American Dream at Riverbend Springs. And until then, catch you later. Cheers all. Bye bye.